Hi everyone, welcome to this new session. Today in this session we are going to see how to create an auto scaling group for our EC2 instance. So for that we need to have one EC2 instance and also we need to create a AMI from that. So we are going to see step by step everything. Let's go into the demo session now. Go to EC2 console. Now here I'll launch an instance. I'll name it as demo for auto scaling group EC2. Okay, you can give whatever the name like you wanted. Next I am taking the uh, OS flavor as Amazon Linux, and next instance type as T2 micro. Key I'll select CR desktop, and here I am taking demo VPC, and I'm going to launch this instance in a public subnet so that I can access into the server. I'll tell you why I want to access and show it to you also. Next, I want this to have a public IP so I can connect it directly. Next, I'm not going to create any new security groups. I'll use the existing one. This is the role that is already whitelisted, that is 22 port with all source. That means from anywhere I can access this server with the port 22 using SSH. So go back, then I'll leave this to default and I'll create a instance. Now my instance is launched. So currently it is okay. Now it has come to initializing. We'll wait for 2 minutes, then we'll try to take the access. So now we can see it has a public IP and this is my private IP. So I'll click on connect. Great, I am able to take the access. So I'll take root privileges. What I'll do, what is my current path? It is in home EC2 user. What I'll do, I'll go back. I'll create one directory here and make directory. Just I'll give it as an example. And I'll create one folder here. Touch text one. Okay. So you can see it is created. What I'll do, I'll edit this. Okay, sorry. This file is created in my first server. So why I'm creating this? Just think this is your data, and the same data need to be like deployed when a new instances are going to be deployed. The same data need to be available in the new servers also. So to just to cross verify, I'm going to create this. I'm going to save this file. Okay. What happened? Wait. Okay. I used a capital W. That's why. Okay. Now we can see also. So this file is created in my first server. Okay. So we will clear this. Nothing we want to do in this. I'm going to take a AMI of the server. So whenever my new system, okay, in this for a demonstration, I need to have stress also be installed. What I'll do, I'll install that also. So when I'm going to the next server, when it launches from my current AMI, I'll be taking this server's AMI when it is launching. I don't need to again come and reconfigure here everything. So what I'll do, I'm going to install this. So these commands are for Amazon EC2 Linux. It will vary from uh, different flavors of Linux. So you can check sudo Cannot find enable. Why? Okay, let me directly install this stress. I think it is already there. Okay, see, now it is installed. I am going to clear. Now I'll go back to console. I'll initiate an AMI for this. So I'll keep name as golden AMI. Golden AMI of my first server. Okay. So now this AMI is getting initiated. We'll see. Okay, the status is pending. I'm going to pause the video here. Once this AMI is available, we will get back. Okay, so now we can see our AMI is available. Now I'll tell you why we needed this AMI. So before that, we'll go into auto scaling group. So here we'll try to create this. I'll give the name demo auto scaling group ASG. Okay. Can you see here it is asking for a launch template. Why we need to have this launch template? In our case, we'll consider we need to deploy a new instances whenever my instance CPU utilization reaches 50%. But I don't need to every time manually see what is my CPU's utilization and go deploy by giving all the necessary details like which instance type, what is the security groups I need to attach, what is the key I need to attach for that server, like that. There are so many parameters we need to set again and again, VPC, subnet, all those things. I don't need to do that. What I'll do, I'll use one template. I'll predefine everything in which subnet, which key it need to use, which security groups need to be attached. Everything I'll predefine into it, and I'll give that to my auto scaling group. So what it does, whenever it want to launch a new server, when my current server reaches a 50% of its CPU utilization, it comes, it checks the launch template. According to the launch template, whatever the details I would have been mentioned in that launch template, it will create the complete instance with the proper details. So how to create this launch template, I have already made one video. You can go through that launch template for a in-depth understanding. So in this video, I'm not going to explain each and every step how to create this launch template and all. I'll just briefly explain, and I'll create a one normal basic launch template which required for this auto scaling group. Okay. So you can come to like EC2 console again. You can see your launch templates. Click on it, open it, and create a launch template. So I'll give it as a LT for auto scaling group. This is the name, and version I'll give it as a V1. Now here I don't want to use the recent or whatever the AMIs. I want to use my current whatever the AMIs I have owned. So if you have multiple AMIs, it will show the different names of your AMIs. I have currently only one, that is golden AMI. You can like I am selecting that. If you have multiple, please choose it correctly from which you want to deploy. And here I am selecting T2 micro, which is eligible for free tier, and key CR desktop key, and networking I'll select a public subnet. And here also I'll select launch wizard 9. So it is also just allowing that port 22. Okay. Now EBS volumes I don't going to change it, let it remain 8 GB itself. Click on create launch template. Okay, launch template is successfully created. You can see the version. So for all this more in-depth details, you can watch my video. I have given the link in description, so you can go and check it out. What is launch template, how to deploy, like how to create a new launch template, what are the terms, default version, latest version, all those things. Okay. So we will move back to our auto scaling group. Here now, I'll just refresh this. So I should be able to see my launch template. I have selected the here you can select the version from here also if you want to use the your launch template as a multiple versions. Then I'll go to next page. Here I'll select my VPC and two availability zones I'll give 1A and 1B. Both are public itself. Next, I'll keep this default best effort. And next is here we have load balancing also. What happens if you include load balancing also with the auto scaling group? I'll just explain it in a brief here, but in a future we are going to do a video on this where I'll going to integrate our load balancer, application load balancer with the auto scaling group. So whenever there is a multiple requests coming and hitting your instance, it distributes the load into both the instance. Considering that you have a two instance, like 5 requests will be going to the first server and the 5 requests are going to the next server. Like that, alternatively, it will be switching between EC2 both the instances. Okay. So VPC lattice, I'll not going to enable it, and also zonal shift also I'm going to keep it default, not going to enable, and health checks also. If you want, you can enable the EBS health checks. That means any of your EBS volumes get corrupted or something, it will relaunch the instance from the AMI. So I don't want that for this demo. I'm going to skip it. So for desired and minimum, I'll keep the one thing, and maximum I'll do the 3 servers. That means if my second system reaches 50%, the third system will be launched. But if my third system reaches the 50%, what happens? There is no new servers going to be launched. Only I'll be having 3 servers, and the workload will be between these 3 servers itself. So I was telling you what I'm going to keep the threshold as a 50% CPU utilization. To do that, here I need to enable this target tracking scaling policy. So here here there are so many other features like other options according to which you can schedule the auto scaling. But what I'll do, I'll use the CPU utilization. I'll keep it as a 50%. For our demo session, I'll keep it as a 20%. What it does, like whenever my CPU utilization of my EC2 instance reaches 20 and above, it is going to launch a new instance. Warm up, instance warm up, I'll give just 60 seconds. That is enough. Disable scaling. Scaling means once the process of getting multiple instances launched when the target value is reached, that is 20% of CPU is reached, it is called as a scaled out. That is one more systems are getting created, 1 plus 1 plus 1. But auto scaling the same way, once the threshold comes below 20%, the same instances what has got created newly, it should be deleted. That process is called as a scaling. That means now the instances are getting less. So that is the scaling. I am not going to disable the scaling. So there are other instance maintenance policies. I'm not going to choose. I'll keep it as a no policy itself. For example, I'll just explain you this launch before terminating. That means it will wait for another system to come up and it is ready to take a server load. Until that it waits before deleting any old server. So like that you will get more other options here, so you can just explore it. For our video I'm going with no policy, and additional capacity I'm keeping it default. I'm not going to going for any capacity reservations. And here also, as I said, I'm not going to enable the instance scaling protection. If I enable this instance scaling protection, the deletion of my the servers which are launched once the threshold is been reached, it won't delete it if I enable this. That's why I'll keep it unticked here. And I'll click on next. I don't want any notifications for this. If you want, you can create a notification. In production environment, we will create this notification. What it does, whenever you the new instance is getting created, it will send us an email. The new instance is been launched. Same way, when the CPU utilization come downs and instance is going to be terminated, like there is no much load, so it will do the scaling process. That time also it sends this instance has been terminated. So for this demo, I'm not going to do that. And tags, I don't want to give anything. This is a review page. You can see all the configuration what you have done. So my auto scaling group name demo, and this is the launch template. Networking, I'm using demo VPC with the two subnets, 1A and 1B public subnets. And this is my desired capacity, and this is the minimum and maximum. So scaling enabled. Yeah, scaling should be enabled. That means it should delete the instances if there is no much load. I'll click on, okay, I clicked. You may ask me, there are already instances in your EC2 console, but it is showing you as a zero instance. Why it is? Because when you create a auto scaling group, it doesn't going to count the existing instances as a 1, 2, 3. It always thinks if the server is launched using this auto scaling group, then only it understands, okay, I have already launched one system and this is my server. If you have a multiple instances launched before this, it is not going to consider that. So I'll just refresh it. Now see, it is saying 1. What happened? We are going to see here. You can see here, this is the new instance. Okay. So I'll name it as a auto scaling group 1. That means this instance is launched by auto scaling just for a naming purpose. So if you see now, my auto scaling group has reached the desired capacity 1. So that means it will try to keep the one server always minimum. So we'll go inside this. We'll see the activity. You can see here now the activity performed in an activity HTR launching a new EC2 instance. This is the ID of instance which is launched 769. We'll go, we'll check here. This is my instance ID 769. So it is properly showing here when it started 10:05 p.m. It started 10:05:36, and when it got completed 10:05:42. That means 6 seconds it took. Now you may understand why it is more efficient to use auto scaling and also to have a launch template. What we'll do now, we'll come to EC2. Okay, it is 2 by 2. I'll try to connect to this server. Okay, I am not able to connect because it doesn't have a public IP. I'll attach an elastic IP here. Sorry. So I have already taken one elastic IP. I'm going to use that itself. I'll associate this with the ASG one which is running. Associate this. Now come to instance back, refresh this. You can see now my elastic IP has been attached. Now I'll click on connect. So if you remember, before taking an AMI in my first server, I had created one folder that is example in a /home directory. And also inside that directory, I had created one text file. So we're going to check, is it present in this new system also, because this system is launched using the same AMI of my first server. So first cd/home. See, the example folder has been present here. I'll go inside this and the text is present here. The file which I have created, I'll cat this. The file is created in my first server. Okay. So why I did this, just to make sure like you will also be having an idea what is the advantage of launching an EC2 instance using AMI. So whatever data you have in your main server, everything, the data packages, everything will be copied to the new launching server. It's server also. So what we'll do, we are not going to make anything more here. I'll go back to this. So this is the command. I'll give stress for 4 CPU cores with time of 600 seconds. Okay. I'll copy this. I'll paste it. So now it has been started increasing my CPU. Where to monitor, you will get the matrix here itself, but it won't reflect in a real time. It will take some time to show. So what I'll do, until it reaches at least 5 to 8%, I'll pause this video. Once it reaches, I'm going to show you how it looks. So yes, now we can see suddenly my CPU utilization has been increased from here to 36%. Currently it is running at 36.15. So what it should do, it already crossed the threshold of 20%. It should create a new instance. For that, we'll see, is it going to create? I'm in my auto scaling group. Inside auto scaling, come to activity, come here, click on refresh. Okay, I don't see anything here. It is getting created. I think it wait for some 2 to 3 minutes to confirm is that load constant. Then it is going to launch. See, not yet in service, but now it is saying a new instance is getting launched with the instance ID 113. So what we'll do, we'll go and confirm here. Is it launching an instance? Yes, it is launching an instance with 113. Okay. I can see it is launching one more system, that is 362. Why this is happening? Because I have too much load on the server. If you see here, 60% it has reached. That is more than twice what we have given. That's why what is happening, it is creating a multiple instances here. So the two instances is also getting created here. Both are in initializing phase. We'll go back to auto scaling activity here. We'll monitor this. You can see now here. This is a new system got created. And how much time it had took? 10, 14 for 14 seconds. It started, and 10, 15 minutes, 19 seconds. Almost 1 minute. Just more than 1 minute it had took, but I don't want to monitor this manually or anything. Automatically my auto scaling is doing all the work for me. It is launching my instance, and it is only going to terminate also if my instance CPU utilization come down. So we'll wait for this also to be launched. Okay, this is also launched. You can see 15 it started, around 16 it got completed. So here also it took a 1 minute of time. What I'll do, the system here where we started the stress command, right? I'm going to end this. So I have stopped this now. I'll clear this. Okay. So this is how the auto scaling group works. So the remaining part is it should terminate the instance once this matrix comes down. So for that, we'll wait. I'm going to pause this video here. Once the CPU utilization come down, I'm going to again present my video. Then we will check, is it going to delete the instances which is created. Okay. Okay. Now you can see my one of the server is getting terminated. What is that? 769. So which has launched at the starting, it is going to terminate that. Okay. So if you go back to here, we can see, okay, it is getting shut down. So like this is the advantage of having auto scaling group. That means you don't need to manually manage anything, like when you want to increase the instances or when you want to decrease the instances when your workload is very less. So because of this advantage, we are going to use auto scaling group in our day-to-day life when we have a unpredictable load on our EC2 instances. I hope you all like this video, and if you have any questions regarding this auto scaling group, you can leave them in a comment section. I'll try to answer each of your question. Thank you everyone.